So I've had time to reevaluate and check through everything, and I've made some decisions. The biggest decision is that I was looking through this whole place trying to figure out what's good and what's bad. I'm going to take everything out. Now, the reasons for this are I rethought the overall plan of what I want to achieve with this. And I mentioned in the previous video that there's a heating system in here with a radiator pipe that runs all the way around the building, around the caravan, if you like. And I assumed at that point it was running off the water from the engine. It's not. I found under one of the back benches that there is a water heater that circulates water. It's gas powered, and I don't like it. I'm going to get rid of it. So ripping it out means ripping out everything else. So reason why I don't like it is, I mean, it's old. I can heat this place much more efficiently with a couple of diesel heaters. And secondly, because in rethinking, I've looked at the overall concept of this vehicle. Let me just reposition that. And with the only entrance being through the passenger side, that creates problems. Firstly, there's no passenger seat. And secondly, it means that this bed needs to be always lifted up out of the way so you can come in and out. And one of the things that I decided when I was looking for a camper was fixed bed, because I'm not going to be making the bed every day and folding things away and putting them back out. So, fixed bed, and then a door in the side of the caravan part. So there's a second entrance. That means, okay, you have to duck down to get into the cab, but you don't have to duck down every time you're coming in and out. So that can stay down. So it means that this door is going. I'm going to get rid of it. I don't need to block the cab off from the living area. So get rid of that. I can put a passenger seat in, weld everything up so it's going to pass inspections. I would have liked to put a swivel seat on the driver seat. I don't think I can do that because of the way the handbrake and the gear lever is and everything. Also because in here, this is metal, this is welded in, and while it's kind of in the way, I kind of like the idea of this. It's almost a bit of a roll frame safety wise, so I'd like to keep this, at least this post in, so the swivel thing doesn't make sense. But if I put a passenger seat here, I can put a swivel on. So I'll put the swivel on there, table, a couple of chairs with seat belts, so now I've got room for passengers. And then after that, a door. Now the thing with the door is it kind of takes up space. There's not, you lose some wall space. But I've got tons of space here. For instance, where the camera is sitting now is the area in the back of the van, which has seating for 8 people. I don't need seating for 8 people. It was all around that table, but like I said, I don't need room for 8 people, so I can just put a sofa on one side, get desk on it on the other side, I'm going to gut the place and start from scratch, because I'm changing so much it doesn't make sense to keep anything. I can rip out all those radiators, and to do that means ripping out everything, so I'm just going to rip it all out. Something I forgot to mention was it rained last night, and I was hoping for a little bit of rain, because this has been stored 27 years under a roof and it's perfectly dry. But what happens when it rains on it? And what's happened is I do have 2 leaks, possibly 3 leaks, and it's the 2 skylights, and then I'm not sure yet, but might be a leak at that front corner. Everything else seems okay. I've been up on the roof and I'm not too worried about these leaks. I have been looking really hard. I can't find anywhere else where water's coming in. But the skylights are pretty easy to disassemble and reassemble or replace, the 2 of them. That corner might be a bit more of a problem, but I've gone and bought a good quality tarpaulin to put over it just for now, and I will then disassemble these skylights and see how they're fixed in, and potentially put them back in with new sealants and everything, or maybe look at getting new skylights. But so from now on in the videos you're going to see there's a tarpaulin over the top. It's just for these 2 or possibly 3 leaks. I will go and investigate the other leak first. So I disassembled the skylights and refitted them with new sealant, so I'm happy with those. I decided that while the original plan was to get this thing running and then move it into the shelter that you can see a little bit of in the background, that's not going to happen while the brakes are seized, so I decided that the priority is to get this thing watertight, and so I'm cleaning the roof at the edges where the seams are, because every seam and every hole is a possible failure point in terms of keeping the thing watertight. And I then washed the surfaces around that joint and applied tape. Now this is a temporary solution. It's a roofing tape that I've got loads of. It's really, really good. It's very sticky. It's quite difficult to work with because once you stick it down, that's it. You've got one chance to get it right. But I'm going to put tape all the way along from front to back on these seams. Now, when I disassembled everything from the back wall, it became obvious that at some point there has been some water getting in there. There's water staining on the wall, so I want to find out what's going on there. So I fixed the hole that was left by the TV antenna that was up here on the roof. I haven't watched TV in 20 years, so I don't need that. And then I moved on to the back wall. Now the previous owners have not been shy about using all kinds of sealant and glues and all that kind of stuff. Gallons of it on every seam that you can find. But on this back wall there is this fiberglass board going across the top with a couple of lights on it. So I decided to take that off and see what's behind there, and what I found is that
because of that board, they were not able to get to the top of the window to put on sealant, and that seam is open, and so that's going to be one of my next jobs.
Okay, so that's great news. I've located the source of that, where that old water damage came. But more good news, I said on the earlier video that I would have liked to have put a swivel seat on here. Turns out I've got one. When you put your weight on it, it's locked in place. You lift the weight and you can spin. Now I'm hoping this is original, because that means I might be able to get away with keeping this. Okay, next update coming soon.